Good morning. Welcome to our Tuesday chapel, our Symposium chapel. Our Symposium theme this year is China Rising, a New Global Order. And in order to investigate China, we're looking at rituals and religious practices of ancient China. And today we're exploring Ancestor ritual. A few notes on our schedule for the week. Tomorrow we will not have chapel as Symposium will be going on. And Thursday we'll explore Pure Land Buddhism. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Ann Mako, who helped put the service together today.
Good morning, and thank you so much for coming to chapel today as we come together to honor our ancestors, and in so doing, honor one of the great traditions of China. Funerals in China and rituals that cultivate relationships with family members after their deaths have been one of the central features of Chinese culture throughout recorded history, so much so that the Chinese have often been said to worship their ancestors. This was actually a problem for early Europeans traveling to China who wanted to convert people to Christianity. They saw ancestor worship as a form of idolatry, and they worked to break people from their traditions. In so doing, however, they somewhat misunderstood what they were seeing. In Western traditions, there is usually understood to be a sharp and radical break between the seen world of visible human beings and the unseen world of God. And so performing any ritual to an unseen power or being is tantamount to worshiping that unseen being as God. In traditional China, however, the world was understood to be quite a bit blurrier. The visible world of human beings was understood to be touched and to be permeated by all kinds of non-visible beings and powers. Local spirits who lived in villages and in houses, ghosts, Buddhist saints, high gods ruled by the Jade Emperor. The denizens of the seen world understood themselves to have not only routine contact with, but also routine social obligations to not only other visible members of the world, but also to dozens or hundreds of non-visible neighbors, relatives, housemates, and rulers. A death among humans, then, in many ways marked not a profound rupture and loss, so much as a transition in the ways that one can uphold an ongoing relationship, a transition to something like a long-distance relationship, where one person moved from the embodied world to the disembodied world. The dead were understood to retain their ties to the living, their names, their memories, their interest in hearing about weddings or graduations, their favorite foods, and they could be reached in the context of ritual. They continued to be nourished by offerings, the incense and foods that are typically set out for them, the money and paper goods that can be burned for them, and they continued to work for the health and well-being of their living descendants. Asking someone from traditional China to stop performing ancestor rituals was thus not dissimilar to asking them to stop visiting or giving gifts to their living grandmother, an abandonment of a vibrant social relationship with someone to whom one owes love, respect, and deference. So when a person died, they continued to be memorialized by their surviving loved ones in China in two main ways. The first was through the body. Bodies were handled carefully and traditionally were buried. Primary funeral rituals in the home and at the gravesite lasted for weeks and involved a variety of rituals, gatherings, meals, and recitations. Families often continued to return to gravesites on an annual basis to sweep the grave clean, to light incense, to share a picnic with the deceased. While initial funeral rituals may be somber, the longer-term annual visits are often festive, and during the spring holiday of Qingming, which persists into the present, families even set off firecrackers in the cemeteries to celebrate with the dead. In addition to individual attentions that a relative may receive at his or her grave, the family will also have access to their ancestors collectively through the names of the dead, which are inscribed usually on lacquered wooden tablets. These tablets, which presume that the dead retain a lasting connection to their names and can be reached in the afterworld through the memory of that name, are then displayed on narrow shelves in a shrine room, sometimes in a building specifically designed as an ancestor hall, sometimes as a wing of a larger temple or a temple complex dedicated to a local or national god. People visiting the name tablets of their ancestors usually light incense and or candles, bow, and offer prayers addressed to their kin. While ancestors may be buried in a variety of locations and so must be visited at their graves one at a time, ancestor halls permit a person from the living world to visit and confer with many of his or her ancestors at once. The practice of inscribing the names of the dead thus allows something like a family reunion or a family meeting between the still embodied or still visible and those who have passed on. It is a chance for the living to report to the dead on major news from the living family or to ask for advice and help from anyone able to pull strings on the other side. For today's chapel, we have constructed an ancestor hall here. Normally, the tablets of an ancestor hall would be from a single family lineage. And here we are imagining Concordia to be one big family. So we have brought together the mixed relatives of all kinds of Cobbers. Normally, also, the tablets would be carved in wood and painted, and we have done the best we could with something a little less permanent. We do not have a comprehensive collection of ancestors, but we have added in the middle a special tablet for those who are not otherwise named here. What we'll be asking you to do today is to take the opportunity to connect with your ancestors, those who might be named here and those who live in your memory. We will have 3 sets of readings from classic Chinese texts, plus 3 musical selections, which are audio recordings of Chinese memorial rituals for the dead. We ask that you choose one of the 3 times when the music is playing to come forward, light your candle, and place it in the boxes here at front. If you feel comfortable bowing at the waist to show your respect or folding your hands briefly in prayer, we encourage you to do so. We also ask that during the times when the music is playing and you are seated, that you recall your ancestors by name and offer them a silent report on the well-being of your family. In this way, we hope to connect you to a different way of being in the world, a more Chinese sensibility that claims our family and indeed our past as something that stays present and connected to us, and that we continue to be in relationship with those we can no longer touch and see.
The Master Confucius said, "When your father is alive, observe his will. When your father is dead, observe his former actions. If, for 3 years, you do not change from the ways of your father, you will be called a real son, a filial child who loved, respected, and cared for his parents."
子曰：父在，观其志；父没，观其行。3年无改于父之道，可谓孝矣。
Mencius said, "The nourishment of parents when living is not sufficient to be accounted the great thing. It is only in the performing their ritual when dead that we have what can be considered the great thing."
孟子曰：养生者不足以当大事，唯送死可以当大事。
The philosopher Zhang said, "Let there be a careful attention to perform the funeral rites to parents, and let them be followed when long gone with the ceremonies of sacrifice. Then the virtue of the people will resume its proper excellence."
曾子曰：慎终追远，明德归后矣。
Meng Yizi asked about the meaning of filial piety. Confucius said, "It means not diverging from your parents." Later, when Fan Qi was driving him, Confucius told Fan Qi, "Meng's son asked me about the meaning of filial piety, and I told him not diverging." Fan Qi said, "What did you mean by that?" Confucius said, "When your parents are alive, serve them with propriety. When they die, bury them with propriety, and then do rituals for them with propriety."
孟懿子问孝，子曰：无为。樊迟曰：子告之曰。孟懿孙问孝于我，我告曰：无为。樊迟曰：何谓也？子曰：生视之以礼，死葬之以礼，祭之以礼。
tradition of honoring ancestors has its roots in the philosophy and the worldviews of Confucianism. Confucian philosophy holds that there is a basic order in the universe and a natural harmony linking humanity, nature, and the cosmos, heaven or tian. It also holds that a person is by nature a social being and that the natural order of the universe should be reflected and upheld in harmonious human relationships. Confucians teach that there is no such thing as an autonomous individual. Instead, what we tend to think of as the individual is one node in a complex web of relationships. In other words, we are each the sum of our relationships, and we do not stand alone outside of our roles as children, parents, siblings, neighbors, friends, teachers, students, colleagues. Out of all the relationships that make us who we are, Confucians teach that family relationships are the most fundamental. Relationships within the family are not only foundational for the formation of each person, but serve as the model for nearly all other relationships in our lives. In particular, Confucians emphasize the relationship of parent to child and elder brother to younger brother. These two relationships model social identities that are hierarchical, where one person is senior and the other person is junior. But while these two roles are not equal, they are supposed to be mutual and reciprocal. The junior person is to honor and respect their senior, and the senior person is to nurture and guide their junior. Thus, as we expand out into the world, each of us receives guidance from those who have gone before us, and in our own turn are bound to guide those who come after us. In this way, we achieve the highest Confucian virtue, ren, a deep sense of empathetic relatedness to all persons. For Confucians, this process of helping and guiding each other is achieved not only through informal daily interactions, which need to be constantly observed, self-critiqued, and improved, but through pursuing formal education to open our capacities, and also by engaging in practices of ritual. Ritual can be directed at the gods and high spiritual beings of the universe, but it can also be directed to other people. In life, one ritualizes one's relationships to others through etiquette, through politeness and performing the correct act at the correct time. And after death, one honors both the burial spot and the names of those who have died.
Mencius said, "Of services, which is the greatest? The service of parents is the greatest. Of charges, which is the greatest? The charge of oneself is the greatest. I have heard that those who keep themselves are able to serve their parents, but I have never heard of any who, having failed to keep themselves, were nevertheless able to serve their parents. There are many services, but the service of parents is the root of all others. There are many charges, but the charge of oneself is the root of all others." The philosopher Zheng Zi, whenever he fed his father, Zheng Shi, was always sure to serve wine and meat, and when these were being removed, he would ask respectfully to whom he should give what was left. If his father asked whether there was anything left that he could take home, he was sure to say, "There is." After the death of Zheng Shi, when it was the turn of Zheng Zi's son, Zheng Yuan, to feed his father, he was always sure to have wine and flesh provided. But when the things were being removed, the meal was finished, he, Zheng Yuan, did not ask to whom he should give what was left. And if his father asked whether there was anything left, he would answer no, intending to keep the leftovers to eat himself. This was what is called nourishing the mouth and body. We may call Zheng Zi's own practice of generosity, by contrast, nourishing the will. To serve one's parents as Zheng Zi served his may be accepted as filial piety.
孟子曰：“视孰为大？视亲为大。守孰为大？守身为大。不失其身而能视其亲者，无闻之矣；失其身而能视其亲者，无谓之闻也。孰不为视？视亲，视之本也。孰不为守？守身，守之本也。曾子养曾皙，必有酒肉。将彻，并其所与。问有余，必曰有。曾皙死，曾源养曾子，必有酒肉。将彻，不请所与。问有余，曰往矣。将以复尽也。此所谓养口体者也。若曾子，则可谓养志也。视亲若曾子者，可也。”
The Master Confucius said, "A A young man should serve his parents at home and be respectful to elders outside his home. He should be earnest and truthful, loving all, and cultivate the friendship of the good. After doing this, if he has energy to spare, he can study literature and the arts.
子曰：“弟子入则孝，出则悌，谨而信，凡爱众而亲仁，行有余力，则以学文。”
The sacrificial odes of Shang. How admirable, how complete. Here are set our small and large drums. The drums resound harmonious and loud, to delight our meritorious ancestor. The descendant of Tang invites him with this music, that he may soothe us with the realization of our wishes. Deep is the sound of the hand drums and drums, shrilly sound the flutes, all harmonious and blending together. According to the notes of the sonorous gem, oh, majestic is the descendant of Tang. Very admirable is his music. The large bells and drums fill the ear. The various dances are grandly performed. We have admirable visitors, who are pleased and delighted, from of old, before our time. The former men set us the example, how to be mild and humble from morning to night, and to be reverent in discharging the service. May our ancestor appreciate our rituals in summer and autumn, thus offered by the descendant of Tang.
以语挪语，治我陶鼓，鼓奏简简，堪我列祖。汤孙奏甲，虽我思成。陶鼓渊渊，会会管声。既和且平，依我轻声。于贺汤孙，木木绝声。庸古有意，万无有意。我有家客，亦不一意。自古在习，先民有作，温公朝夕，执事有客。故语征长，汤孙之将。
Confucians emphasize not just the moral development of individuals in relationships. Rather, they are interested in how webs of relationships build into a harmonious society, a smoothly functioning political system in tune with the natural world, the unseen world of the dead, and the will of heaven. This makes Confucian thought an integrated system of what in the West would be considered entirely separate enterprises: individual examination and self-cultivation, interpersonal morality, political theory, cosmology, religion. Sustaining relationships with one's ancestors is thus not just a matter of continuing to feel loved by your grandmother. It is rather one link in a system that ensures natural harmony and national security, one building block in a tower that comprises the entirety of the known world. To borrow some Concordia language, for Confucians, honoring your ancestors through ritual is one key component of being responsibly engaged in the world, a core part of cultivating one's whole self, whole life, and whole world.
Zhejiang asked Confucius, saying, "How should one best handle the affairs of government?" The master said, "There are 5 points of excellence to be respected and 4 bad points to be avoided. If you can follow these, you can handle the affairs of government." Zhejiang asked, "What are the 5 points of excellence?" The master said, "The noble man is generous without being wasteful, works hard without resentment, desires without being avaricious, is proud without being arrogant, strict without being severe." Zhejiang said, "What does it mean to be generous without being wasteful?" The master said, "If you see a way to bring benefit to the common people and you carry it out, is this not being generous without being wasteful? If you select the matters where it is appropriate to work and have people work hard at them, who will be resentful? If you desire goodness and attain it, where will there be greed? Whether dealing with the many or the few, the young or the old, the noble man does not dare to be conceited. Is this not the meaning of being proud but not being arrogant? The noble man, straightening his robe and cap, is respectful in his gaze. He is severe in the gazes of the people, yet is in awe of them. Is this not the meaning of being strict without being severe?" Zhejiang said, "What are the 4 bad points?" The master said, "To execute someone without explaining what they did wrong is cruelty. To expect achievements without admonishment is tyrannical. To be late in giving orders, yet expecting punctuality, is injurious. To be stingy in bestowing on people their due remuneration is a petty offentiousness."
子张问于孔子曰：“何如斯可以从政矣？”子曰：“后无美，平四恶，斯可以从政矣。”子张曰：“何谓无美？”子曰：“君子惠而不费，劳而不怨，欲而不贪，泰而不骄，威而不猛。”子张曰：“何谓惠而不费？”子曰：“因民之所立而立之，斯不亦惠而不费乎？则可劳而劳之，又谁怨？欲人而得人，又焉贪？君子无众寡，无小大，无敢慢，亦不思泰而不骄乎？君子正其衣冠，后其瞻视，俨然人望而畏之，斯不亦威而不猛乎？”子张曰：“何谓四恶？”子曰：“不教而杀，谓之虐；不戒事成，谓之暴；慢令治其，谓之贼；由之与人也，出纳之令，为之有司。”
The philosopher Zhang said, "I daily examine myself on 3 points. Whether in transacting business for others I may have been not faithful, whether in intercourse with friends I may have been not sincere, whether I may have not mastered and practiced the instructions of my teacher."
曾子曰：“吾日三省吾身：为人谋而不忠乎？与朋友交而不信乎？传不习乎？”
The minister of agriculture taught the people to sow and reap, cultivating the 5 kinds of grain. When the 5 kinds of grain were brought to maturity, the people all obtained a subsistence. But men possess a moral nature. And if they are well fed, warmly clad, and comfortably lodged, without being taught at the same time, they become almost like beasts. This was a subject of anxious solicitude to the sage Shun, and he appointed Xie to be the minister of instruction, to teach the relations of humanity, how between father and son there should be affection, between sovereign and minister, righteousness, between husband and wife, attention to their separate functions, between old and young, a proper order, and between friends, fidelity. The high merited sovereign said to him, encourage them, lead them on, rectify them, straighten them, help them, give them wings, thus causing them to become possessors of themselves. Then follow this by stimulating them and conferring benefits on them.
后继教民甲种，数益五谷，五谷熟而民人欲，人之有道也。饱食暖衣，易居而无教，则近于禽兽。圣人有忧之，使弃为司徒，交以人伦。父子有亲，君臣有义，夫妇有别，长幼有序，朋友有信。放勋曰：劳之来之，匡之直之，辅之益之，使自得之，又从而正得之。